Welcome back. My last video was on the topic overcoming challenges. And in that video, I went over a few challenges that one may face when trying to accomplish their goals. And a few of the challenges were finances, fear, comfort, and conflict. Now, in this video, I'm going to share my experience with trying to accomplish a goal and the many challenges that I had to face. Now, the goal that I was trying to accomplish was to graduate from college. Now, I was enrolled at the College of the Bahamas, which is also known as the University of the Bahamas. The vast majority of my time there was that of a part-time student. And those of you guys who have worked a full job and attend college knows that is not an easy road. For some, it's easier than others. But for me, it was not easy. It was very difficult. I can remember a few times when I had a test. I sat down to the table with a bunch of papers in front of me, trying to understand what's going on. And within a few hours, I have to attend a class. A class that I know the lecturers already told us we're going to have a test on this topic, and I'm lost. Like, I know most likely I'm going to get an F. I don't know what's going on. I even can remember a time when I had a mathematics final exam. I didn't even attend that exam because I was lost. I knew I was going to get an F. And I really did not feel comfortable sitting down and letting the lecturer see how lost I was. I was embarrassed. To be honest with you, I was embarrassed. So I rather I didn't even attend the exam. So that was automatic F. Was that the right decision? I really don't know. Because at the end of the day, I know I was going to get an F either way you put it. Like, that shows how much I knew I didn't know anything. You know, that whole semester, I worked and attended classes, but I never had the time to put in to study. Like, it was just difficult for me, you know? If you work in a job with shifts, it may be harder, it may be easier. Like, for me, it was just difficult, you know? And then at some point, I made up my mind to just go to school full time. Like, y'all heard the stories where, you know, I didn't even sit my mathematics final exams, when, you know, I sat down and cried because I knew I was going to get an F on this test, and, you know, various challenges. And when I tell you, in high school, I was on a roll school. I was an honor roll student. It isn't as if I used to get bad grades in high school. No, it's just that in college it was very difficult. It was hard for me to find the time to study. It was hard for me to find that work and school balance. It just was not easy for me. And I made up my mind to just go to school full time. Was it an easy decision? No, it wasn't. It was not a decision that I just woke up on and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to give in my resignation letter, and that's it. No, I sat on it, I thought about it, I evaluated where I was working and what I want for my future. You know, it isn't as if I was working a job like, you know, you have some persons who are taking up like accounts and they're working at an accounting firm, or someone who is taking up business or, you know, banking and finance and they're working at a bank. So someone like that, although the road may be difficult, at the end of the day, they are gaining the work experience that they need. And at the same time, they may be climbing up the ladder. So when they're done with their degree, you know, they just polish everything off. For me, I wasn't working a job like that, you know? So I decided to just go to school full time. I can remember telling my dad about it. He was like, who leaves their job to go to school full time. You know how many persons want a job right now and you're going to leave your job to go to school full time? Now, to tell you the truth, I know my daddy wanted what was best for me, what he felt as if was best for me. But for me, I knew what I wanted. I knew the vision that I had for my life. I knew the goals that I had for my life. And so I knew that working and going to school just was not working for me. I knew that it was taking up too much of my time and that I was in school for I was in college for like over 7 years. A 4-year degree was taking me over 7 years to accomplish. It was not easy. So I made that decision. Now, talk about finance, I didn't really have it. To be honest with you, I didn't have it. I had sufficient funds to pay for the upcoming semester. And so let's say I leave my job in August. School started in September. I had my tuition for that semester. And then I had maybe like a little over $1,000 to go towards the following semester. And you all know a little over $1,000 is not enough for a full-time student, you know? So what I decided to do, I started selling small items. I started selling lingerie. So I started a small lingerie business. What I did, I had a little booklet, like basically like a brochure. It had photos of the items that I was selling, the prices, the size, and I would just go on my breaks from store to store, asking persons if they were interested in making a purchase. You know, in the event they said yes, I would go in my back trunk. I already had everything packaged inside a nice little clear bag with the handle. I had my little tissue paper, all of that, you know, well presented. And when persons made their purchase, they made their purchase. There have been times whereas, let's say on Saturday, so I know well, class, so 2 o'clock. So after class, I would just put on my wedges and I would go to a plaza and just stop store to store. And trust me, when I left for class, I didn't have $1. But at the end of the day, within like about an hour, less than an hour, I made like over $100. And even I wanted to make more money, I could have just, you know, visit a few more stores and make more money. But if I was satisfied with $100, then I would go home and call it a day, you know? So I didn't let the fact of me not having the finances hold me back. And like I told you, once there's a will, there's a way. It's all about how bad you want it. I could remember COB had a financial, I don't know what it was, it called financial planning or anyway. At the end of the day, you would apply for some sort of financial assistance and they would credit your account, I don't know, maybe a few $100s. Like they would give you some sort of financial assistance. So at the end of the day, your bill was not you didn't have to pay the full bill, right? So I got that the following semester. And then for summer, you know, I paid my tuition for the summer. And my last semester, I was able to get a scholarship my last semester. When I tell you God has made a way, He makes a way. But let me tell you something. When I tell you, I just knew I could not have failed. I could have not failed. I was like on the Dean's List. I was on the Dean's List. During my time there as a full-time student, when I tell you I was focused, I was focused. I was on the Dean's List. I was able to get a scholarship my last semester. And like I told you, the other semester, I got financial assistance from the school. And when I tell you God made a way, He made a way. When I left my job, I had like 18 classes left. And I completed those classes within 2 semesters and a summer. I'm not too sure. It was like about a year and a half. 1 year, a year and a half. When I tell you, I was focused. I was putting in those classes, 6 classes, summertime, 3 classes, statistics was included. I just was shutting it down, and my grades were up. I was focused. I knew that finances was a problem. I started a small business. I made sure my grades were up. I applied for different financial assistance. And when I tell you God made a way, He made a way. Even before I went to school full time, I could remember I sat out a year. I was working, going to school, and I decided to sit out a year. And that's like in this topic right here, it's very important to have friends who are on the same page that you are on, or who is even doing better than you. Someone who can encourage you when you slide off the tracks. Someone who could help push you to get back on track. And I can remember I went, I sat out a year, and my friend was like, well, when you can go back to school, because you settled like over here and you don't want to get too comfortable and look, you don't go back. And I sat down and I thought about it. It's like, all honesty, it's been a whole year. I really need to go back. I don't want to get comfortable and end up never going back. So I called a few weeks or a few months before registration time, and a lady who answered the phone, she gave me a date. And it so happened that the date that she gave me was an incorrect date. Because when I called around the time and she told me to call, or around the time that she told me they would have been starting their registration, when I called, the deadline had already passed. And I was like, well, when I called, the lady told me that this is the date. And the person who I was speaking with then was like, no, sorry, miss, the deadline had already passed. So I was like, well, mother was. So anyway, I could remember going in, I went to the mall. And during the same time I was in the mall, I saw someone who I went to school with. And I was telling her about my story with, trying to get back into COB, and, I missed the deadline and, this and that. So the girl, she was like, they're doing registration now for like current students. She was like, yeah, they're doing registration now. She's like, what to do? Get your papers and register. So I said, oh Lord. So anyway, so I went home, I got all my papers, and I went to register. And let me give you a little background. So when I remember I told you that I started for a year, I needed a break. Because that semester, when I decided to sit out, I was on probation. I was on probation. When I tell you a hot mess, the hottest mess. I was on probation. I was like, you know what? I might as well just take a break. I was on probation. And like I said before, in high school, I was an honor roll student. It's not as if I'm a dumb girl. You understand? But I was on probation. It was rough for me. And so when I went to register, this was another challenge. Because I was like, Lord, please blind the people so they, won't notice that I started a whole year, which means that I would have need to re-register. And I said, God, please blind the people, blind their eyes. So, okay, God did blind their eyes. But guess what? It was another challenge. I was on probation. So being on probation, I had to get the dean's approval in terms of registering, for the following semester. So I said, oh God, I really hope this woman don't pick up on this. So, she asked, what happened, why you on probation and blah, blah, blah. So she signed off on the paper. I said, thank you, God. And I was back in school. When I tell you, when you really want something in life, you really, you can't allow various challenges to knock you down. You really can't. You have to focus on the goal. Focus on what you really want. And allowed all of those challenges that I faced to cause me to give up on my goal and my dreams. I could have easily done it. It isn't easy. Half of the times, the goals that we want to accomplish, it isn't easy. We all could give excuses, we could give reasons for not pushing to accomplish our goals. We all have reasons. It's always a reason not to do what we're supposed to do. You know? Yes, it's scary coming out of your comfort zone, but I can tell you this much. As scary as it is, that human instinct in you, in terms of you can't fail, is going to come out. And you're going to push and make it happen. Once you make up your mind to accomplish what you want to accomplish, you can make it happen. You will sit down and you will plot on ways in which you're going to make it successful and overcome all of those challenges, So I would like to encourage you guys to push, keep your head straight on your goals, and you will accomplish it. So good night.